Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another edition of the Ultra Confusion Thursday Night Hangout.
It's Thursday?
Thursday!
You know what Thursday's made?
Hangout.
With?
Ultra Confusion.
That consists of?
Myself, Charlie, the host, and of course, the prolific comer himself.
Zealeus!
Yes, sir. All right, so hello, Zealeus.
How goes it, Mr. Red Sunglasses? You're too cool not to put your shades on?
I'm too cool for school. I'm doing all right. But of course, I could be doing better, and to do better, I need to do this.
What are you going to do, good sir?
Good sir, I'm going to do the do.
Why would you do that?
Because I can.
Are you sure this is good for your soul?
Perhaps, my friend, perhaps.
Which part of your soul? There's many parts of your soul.
The nerdy part.
Me? I don't know why you're saying me, white kid. I'm going to be honest. I'm confused by life. I'm often confused, though, so it's not like it's a change from anything that normally happens. Yes.
Uh-oh.
Oh.
Hand me that cup.
Oh, no.
Give me that cup. Give
Oh,
me the cup.
no. Mayday. Mayday. We have a spill in aisle 8.
I got it.
You right there? Okay.
Oh, yeah.
I worry about you over there, yo.
All right, ladies and gentlemen. Bad Panda, we're going to, we'll add that to the list. But let's get right into it, shall we?
Let us.
Do we really want to start off with this one?
Well, fine. How about that? Do you feel better now?
Yes. Well, I mean, let's, screw it. We'll go with the first one. Whatever.
What, do you want to ease the
Go,
people
go,
in?
go, go, go. No,
Give them
no,
a softball
no,
to start?
Let's just,
let's just punch them in the face.
Let's drive this home. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's talk about something called No Man's Sky. At this point, I think the vast majority of us out there know this game, but not for good reasons.
But there are good reasons to know it.
Yes. It was going to be an expansive, procedurally generated exploration game across the galaxy that was going to have crazy combat with ships and huge monsters of different sizes and buildings and all that stuff. And
sounds like Star Citizen.
yeah, but it was actually released.
What actually constitutes a release of a video game nowadays, though? I think that's a good topic for another day. I mean, seriously.
Well, no, technically, I mean, that goes right back into it. So here's the deal. The developers behind No Man's Skies are currently under investigation by, I guess, like a fraud squad. I want to say...
Do they have black sunglasses and black ties?
No.
Oh, that's disappointing.
You don't even see them. They're that stealthy, man.
That is sneaky.
Anyways, so they're basically being being put under investigation for false advertisement.
Well, then.
Basically, it's we all know, or we've experienced several different products, which we think we hear all the bells and whistles, and we get all excited, and we're like, oh my God, it's the next big thing. And then when it comes out, you find yourself going, that's not really what I was looking for. However, the vast majority of the time, people are like, it's still good though. But apparently No Man's Skies was basically like, I don't know, like a coin toss, or even worse, about, if the game had what you thought it was going to have.
Well, here's my worry. So it is being, investigated by the fraud people.
Mm-hmm.
My worry is that if they are found liable for fraud or whatever happens,
yes,
that could very well open a snowball effect, because what happens when the next game comes out that doesn't meet everybody's expectations, and now everybody is clamoring for it to be investigated for being the next fraudulent game? Because how many games have come out where it has these lofty expectations and then it comes out and they don't meet them? So that's my one fear with it being investigated, is maybe, I mean, I've never played No Man's Sky, so it's hard for me to say with any authority whether or not it is or is not, fraudulent in its advertising. But if it is found to be fraudulent from a legal standpoint, or some group out there, that would be my one worry, is the potential effect on future publishers with the same thing happening to them.
Okay, so I think let's break this down in a little bit of some context here. So the biggest problem about why they're getting investigated for false advertisement is that at no point did the developers behind No Man's Sky say this is not going to be there, that's not going to be there. Sorry, we had to remove this. They literally just said, I hope no one notices. The thing is, yes, absolutely. Would this potentially open up a can of worms? Yes. However, you're talking about a worst case scenario. There are, of course, there's always going to be games that are going to miss the mark, and they're going to piss off some people. The game that always comes to mind for me is Dead Space 3. But you knew they told you that they were changing it. Of course, as a fan, I'm like, what the hell is wrong with you? Why would you do that to the series? But you knew about it. This one was complete blindside, okay? That's the difference.
I guess my worry is kind of, and I know I should talk a little bit about this later, is the idea of patent trolls. Basically, companies who are set up basically to sue other companies for, copyright infringement or patent infringement, whatever you want to call it.
Mm-hmm.
And all it took was one successful suing for millions of dollars. And so all these other companies like, hey, we can jump on the bandwagon. And that's my one fear with this is, it is very possible, I don't know, that No Man's Sky is actually guilty of it.
Mm-hmm.
If they are, okay. But what's going to happen with the next one? And, let's be realistic. Smaller developers or publishers, if they're threatened with this, we know they don't have the resources to fight it.
Right. Ninrak brings up a good point. They still feel like the refunds are fine, but the lawsuit is a problem because that will lead to major ripples throughout the entertainment field. That's right. The thing is, once you open the door, you can never truly close it. So, should product creators be more liable for what should be a part of their product? Yes. However, what's your definition of not holding up their end of the bargain? I think that's what you're trying to say.
That's exactly it. Yeah.
You don't really know where to draw that line. Is there like a certain percentage of promises that if it's not met, then they get sued?
It's like a litmus test. If it doesn't pass 80% of but at what point do you say this is kind of the cutoff point? Because you also have pre-orders, right?
Right.
So we all know things between when I pre-order the game when it's actually released, a lot of things can change, depending on what the developer decides to do. So at what point, so now you're talking like a time frame of which this counts to. So
so if you do the pre-order, well, let's just say you pre-order a game that you think is going to be amazing, it's going to be an action RPG, okay? And let's say by the end of it, they do a complete overhaul and it's a turn-based strategy game.
Yep.
Okay? So you put money down for an action RPG, but you're getting delivered. So I guess at some point, it's diligence on your part, right? You've got to be aware that the change.
There is definitely some self-responsibility.
The thing is, you have the power to remove that money.
Mm-hmm. And I think,
although there are people out there who still have money for StarCraft Ghost.
I know it's not the same thing, but we were sitting around at playing board games on Tuesday, and I was like, I'm finally playing Borderlands 2.
Yep.
Now, granted, it's 4 years later.
Yep.
They're like, dude, that game's been out over. I'm like, yes, two things. One, I wait till the game's been out to read the reviews because I've been burned too many times by AAA titles for $60.
And you're a cheapskate.
And I'm a cheapskate because nowadays, yes, you're right, but the AAA titles, let's be realistic. They no longer cost you $60 if you want the full version of the game. Because you got to pay $60, and then you also have to get the season pass.
Yep.
And then the DLC that's actually separate from the season pass. And it's just all this crazy stuff.
No. See, the season pass gives you a discount on the DLC. So you don't have to pay full price.
But it's just all this stuff that's now tacked on. So I'm kind of like, so you're right. I'm a cheapskate. I will buy AAA titles, but not when they're released anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So it'll be interesting to see what happens. And like Nimrock said, I have no problem with the whole refunds thing. I mean, that's one of the reasons Steam implemented their policy. And I believe they've actually been very lenient with No Man's Sky, more lenient than the original policy goes as far as refunds once they realize what a cluster fark it's all been.
Mm-hmm.
So that's happened. So there's a little bit of that where it's like, oh, crap. This did not quite go as well.
So I hope that, I mean, this is, I don't even know what the hell to. The thing is, technically, this is already in place. You can already get in trouble for false advertisement. So so like if you say, if you've got, I don't know, a can of Mountain Dew and it's supposed to make your hair grow 2 inches overnight, and it doesn't. That's false advertisement. That's already in place. You've got to be able to back up all your claims.
Well, I think here's the hard part.
But that's a claim. It's not a promise or component.
I think one of the problems we run into, and this goes for basically anything having to do with a computer or anything in the digital age, is we're trying to apply laws written 200 years ago
Right.
to circumstances such as, is this a promise? Is it a pact? What exactly does it mean when you advertise your game can do this? Or anything having to do with the internet or video games. We're applying laws 200 years ago that they could not have conceived of these concepts we're encountering today. And so you're taking these kind of outdated ideas and applying it to things that have no relevancy to these old laws. And so that's another issue too, I think, is how to apply these old frickin' laws to today. And then half the time when you write these new laws is they're basically written by just the people who are able to basically purchase corporate interests for millions of dollars.
Yes.
So they don't even serve the purpose of the little people. It's all about corporate greed. And that's my political rant for the night. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
So it's...
Okay.
So I guess that's how I feel about what you're asking with the false advertising. I don't know if the old false advertising really applies to today. That's just me.
Okay. Let's skip around a little bit. Let's go straight to Siege.
Siege it is.
Yep. Okay. So, ladies and gentlemen, let me give you a quick little rundown of something that happens every single October in Atlanta, Georgia, for the past 10 years, and that is Siege. That's Southern Interactive Entertainment Game Expo.
I can't type that out.
Now, I'm going to be totally honest with you. The title is a little bit misleading. This is more of you get to learn about some of the inner workings of the game industry. It's not really an expo per se. It's more of like a smaller scale game developer conference meetup. You've got Thursday is kind of like a half day, and then you have Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Okay?
And really, you should end Thursday by watching us.
Of course. Well, yeah, of course. But right now, actually, currently, at this very moment, there is something happening at Siege, and that, of course, is the Game Dev, Smackdown, which is groups of developers are going head-to-head against each other in two different games, and that is Mario Kart and Rocket League. And, of course, there's a ton of prizes on the line. So, unfortunately, if you did not sign up for it, I'm sorry. But if you're watching our show during one of your breaks, bravo to you, my friends. Bravo. But anyways, so if you missed out this time around, just, like the IGDA Atlanta Facebook page, like the GGDA Facebook page, basically just look for IGDA Atlanta and GGDA, and you'll get all the ins and outs of everything that's happening in Atlanta.
And you've done Siege in the past
yes,
for a number of
I've
years,
done Siege for, I think, 3 or 4 years straight.
So what is your... Sorry.
No, and I would be there, but unfortunately my calendar did not sync up.
So what is your favorite part of Siege?
The keynotes. And to actually break that down a little bit further, so Siege has gotten better and better and better every single year when it comes to keynotes.
Okay.
They bring in big industry names. Now, of course, outside the industry, sometimes people are like, I have no idea who this
Charlie.
is. No, God, I wish they brought me in. That would be awesome. But no. This year they have two keynote speakers. One speaks on Friday night, one speaks on Saturday night. So those are your two big nights. The first one is a guy by the name of Rand Miller.
All right.
That name should sound familiar because he is basically one of the co-creators of Myst and Riven.
Ooh, quality.
So the man's got some, experience. 30 years plus experience in the thing.
Indeed.
And then that's tomorrow night. And then Saturday night is a gentleman by the name of Nick Lang, who basically worked his way all the way up to AAA blockbusters. He basically, let's see here, let me... he's been a producer for Turn 10 on the Forza Motorsports series. I think there was another game, but I can't remember what his other games are. But he's got quite the list too, and he's basically talking about how to work in a big team, collaboration, that type of thing.
Right on.
And of course, there's a ton of other very, very educated
people,
veterans in the industry that you definitely The awesome thing about Siege, okay, and this is a difference between a lot of the conventions that are out there, is that if you want to, there's a very, very good chance that you could talk to anyone and everyone at Siege. Okay, so if you go to like the GDC, which is the Game Developer Conference, the big one in California, chances are you may or may not be able to talk to the people you really want to talk to and, pick their brain. However, there's a very, very good chance that, the creator of Showbiz Pizza and Atari could be walking around, because that was, I think, like 2 or 3 years ago. Nolan Bushnell was just walking around because he gave the keynote one night. I mean, it's pretty impressive. You need to keep an eye on Siege. Now, one thing...
It's a good place to do some networking in the
Oh,
industry,
absolutely.
Right?
Now, one thing that I will warn you about, if you go to Siege, this is not... You're there to network, okay? You're not going there to find a job. There's no hiring there, okay? Your best bet is if, let's say that you are an artist or a developer or whatever, you try to find individuals who are like-minded but have different talents. You pull it together and you make an indie game. And speaking of indie games, there's this amazing thing called the Indie Cluster. And I just want to bring it up.
Yep. What is that?
It's run by a really cool guy named Ron. And basically, the Indie Cluster is Atlanta's traveling indie game booth and online community. So basically, it's basically a showcase for the indies. And then I think, oh yeah, that's right. There's a competition this year for the first time ever. And the prize is being sponsored by Puzzles by Joe, which is a local developer who's made titles such as Clutter 2.
Is that the one
Clutter 3.
that I'm thinking of?
Clutter 4 and Clutter 5.
Is this the one you want to be sponsored by?
Absolutely, because he does. Okay, well, thank you. I'm gonna hit that topic in a second. Thank you, Bad Panda. But anyways, one of the thing is, if you, ladies and gentlemen, just in general, if you are a developer, you want to be a developer, you need to, find your way into a game developer association or indie game meetup. Or there's these things called game jams that happen all over the world, where it's basically 48 hours straight of you and a team either already made or created at that time, and you create a game, and after 48 hours you show it off, and if it's really good, you can actually kind of like escalate up there and win some prizes. So all you got to do is ask. It's like any project. If you have a project that you've created yourself, but you need someone... Please, I don't care if you think it's perfect. You need someone else to look at it. These meetups...
But what if it's perfect?
It's not perfect. It'll never be perfect.
My game's perfect.
If you think it's perfect, then you should quit, because it'll never happen.
Well, I'm quitting the podcast, because this podcast is perfect.
Not yet, sir. Not yet. It's close.
It's perfect.
It's close.
Every
it's close.
Thursday, it's perfect to me.
It's close, sir. It's close. Anyways, so find the meetup that goes to your discipline. Share the ideas, because the fun thing and the amazing thing is when you go to like a game developers association meetup and you show off your game, there's a lot of receptive people there. If you were going to an indie author gathering and you want to show off some of your work, they're very receptive, because it's it's a give and take. You rub my back, I rub your back.
Well, it's why they're there. I mean, it's
exactly.
a captive audience.
Exactly.
For what you're trying to do. It's
and
not like
they're
going to go there if you hate games.
And they're already in the right mindset.
Yeah.
Okay. So anyways, so Siege, awesome. It's happening. It started today. It's going this Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
And where is it actually at?
It's at the Marriott up 75.
At
You could
Cumberland?
just go to Siege. That's SIEGECON, SiegeCon dot. Hold on, let me make sure I say this right. .net, and that'll give you all the information. If you're in Atlanta or near the Atlanta area, I highly recommend, at the very least, just poke your head in or go to the website, check out the panels, check out the different disciplines that they're going to be presenting. It's always really fascinating to hear individuals talk about VR, about art, and all that stuff.
Right on.
Exactly. Perfect does not exist. Just venture into forums of yes. Of the game if one thinks it's perfect. Yeah. You better have some thick skin, especially if you think your game's perfect, and then you are dumb enough, or maybe, I don't know, crazy enough to go into a forum about your own game.
People will find something wrong with it.
That's why Phil Fish will never make another game.
I don't make games because I just don't like programming.
You don't have to be a programmer. All right. On to the next story, ladies and gentlemen.
Let's go with you.
Synchronicity. You can
wait.
turn that off real quick.
All
All right, so for those of you out there who don't know this, there's something called Dead Synchronicity. It's a game that was on the PC for a while, or it's been out for a while. I think I actually played it maybe 2 extra lives ago. I wrote up a review of it. It was an intense game. You play the character of Michael. You have no idea what the hell is going on. You wake up in this kind of like, I don't know, like refugee camp, but you're supposed to be able to leave whenever you want to, but you can't really. And as you play the game, your memory starts kind of like flashing in and out. And basically what happened is there's something called the Great Wave that's happened, and it's causing a desynchronization of time. And it's basically a countdown to a specific
This kind of
moment.
sounds like Hotel California, the video game.
Yeah, I think so.
They come, but you can never do
But anyways, so if you did not play on the PC, or if you're interested in getting on the PC, you can. But they have just put it out on the they just put it out on the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One.
All righty, let us see what this is. Would you like the headphone jack, my friend?
Yes, sir.
Wait,
Let's give you a little peek of the art and design, because I'm going to tell you this art is I like it, but some people might not.
I have no idea what's happening. Not gonna lie.
Wow, that definitely does not give anything, but you kind of get an idea of what at least the art style is. It's a point and click adventure.
Is this similar style to the PC version?
I would assume so. I would assume it's just direct port.
Okay.
So yeah,
Sadly, Nimrock, I've dealt with companies who don't seem to hire external QA companies, and then you wonder how does the software exist, and it makes me very sad.
Well, okay, so if you don't, we're going to go down this path really quick. If you do not have an external QA system, then you have to have, unfortunately, you have a revolving door of contract workers, which sucks to be the contract worker. However, it's brilliant for the developer or the company, because then you get a new set of eyes on it, and so the people who got used to the quirks and the weird stuff of your game or your system or your product are gone, and now you got a set of eyes who's never seen it before, and you're like, what is going on? However, training is a bitch.
Training people, that's never any fun.
Yeah.
I know. It is what it is.
So, let us. Bad Panda brought up something, and basically, they wanted to talk about the fact that Payday 2 developers have decided to put in microtransactions into the game without actually telling anyone about it.
That's
so
sneaky.
So I asked, I'm like, what are they trying to sell all this stuff for? And Bad Panda says, overkill during the release of the game. Payday 2, the devs promised to never add microtransactions for new equipment and items within the game. Overkill parent, Starbreeze Studios has reversed the ability of buying these items, but anyone who has previously bought the items are unable to get a refund. Wait.
That doesn't make any sense, because if they didn't have microtransactions before, where does they get a refund on?
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'm confused about. I think we're missing something.
Yeah, I think so too. But okay, so first of all, if a company decides to drop microtransactions in there, and that's a shitty ass move to make. You don't change the entire pay scale without telling anyone. I understand. You go to. They did, but it got reversed.
What got reversed? So are microtransactions allowed or not allowed in the game now? That's what I'm confused about.
I personally, I don't like. We've had this conversation several times now, but my view of microtransactions for any game is that I'm okay with it if I can play the game. But if it is they added them and then removed them,
That would be weird.
they were allowed, but now they aren't.
Oh.
So basically in that small window where you had the microtransactions just magically appear and people actually bought that stuff and it was turned off, the money you spent on the items during that window, you're not getting a refund on. That's bullshit.
Why though? Because what is it? You have the items, so what does it matter if anything? The fact that other people can't buy it gives your
No. Now the person can get it for free.
Oh. Well, okay. Was the methods of which you could obtain that, let's just say magic flaming sword of +5,
Yep.
changed when they turned microtransactions off?
I
Or is it the same process regardless? Because it seems like most games with microtransactions, the flaming sword of +5, you can get through grinding or microtransactions.
Right.
It's obviously just a lot faster just to do the damn microtransactions.
Okay. Yep.
In that case, if you bought it that way and then they turned it off, if the method of what you can get it is still the same, I'm like, whatever, you still have the sword. Why does it matter if you can buy it or not? That's how I'm thinking about this, which I could be totally wrong of what Bad Panda's talking about.
Right. But okay, so
I've been wrong before.
So the thing is, if you're going to do like a full-blown change to how your economy works within your game, and you don't tell anyone, if you're an indie developer, you're dead. You're going to have to basically shut down your business, rename yourself because you're going to get blackballed.
Well, look
You
how
can't
much of a
pull
hit
that.
Blizzard took alone with the whole gold marketplace.
The real money.
I mean, the only reason they could survive is because they're freaking Blizzard.
Those items that you used to have to buy now are randomly dropped. You used to only get them
Okay.
from buying the item.
Then I'd be pissed, yes.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
if you
would.
could only get those in microtransactions and now you can get them
Just randomly.
just randomly,
Mhm.
you're right. Then I would be upset because you're buying that Flaming Sword +5 for $10 with the intent of, this is going to be exclusive to me because I purchased it with money and nobody else can drop it. And now everybody can get it, then yes,
Yeah.
I would be annoyed at that.
Yeah.
But that kind of goes back to, we also talk about pay to win a lot. And the idea of you can only get an item through paying it, that's also the whole pay to win scheme. And I guess the question is, do we like pay to win in the first place? I think most of us would say, no, we don't like pay to win. But at the same time, if that's what people want to do, I don't care. I'm probably not going to play that game, but that's the beautiful thing about video games.
Right.
Is you can have video games that have pay-to-win elements, and people enjoy them, and they want to use their disposable income on it. More power to them. I mean, that's different games for different people.
I agree.
And-
Real quick, Supermaner Action. I'm not going to say it correctly. I don't know anything about the movie, so I can't
Is this like
comment on that.
Planet of the Apes?
Yeah, it's the next chapter. You had what was it, Planet of the Apes and War of the Apes, and now it's I don't even know what the heck this one is.
The reality is, I really don't see movies in the theaters anymore unless it's basically a superhero movie. That's about it anymore. I'm gonna be honest.
There is a movie. There is a movie that was basically created by one of the comedians of Key and Peele.
Okay.
And I'm thinking, okay, it's going to be funny. It's going to be silly. And there's psychological thriller. Yeah, sure, whatever. Holy crap.
Good stuff.
Dude, I think the trailer alone will give you nightmares. Because I think it's something you do not expect. I'm just saying.
So, Mike, if you want to tell us anything about AWA, we are certainly all ears. I've never been to AWA, so I don't know a whole lot about AWA.
So real quick, just give you a little bit of background. AWA is Anime Week in Atlanta. It's an event that is, of course, solely centered around the world of anime. And, of course, some of the terrible dubs and some of the other stuff. It's, in my opinion, in my experience, it's definitely the place for you and all of your friends to cosplay as a group or whatever, and have a good time. I will say this, and this is basically, and I'll equate it to an experience that Zealeus and I had. Once upon a time, Zealeus and I went to PAX East up in Boston. We went up there a day early.
Yep.
So we're like, you know what? Let's do something crazy. Let's do something we wouldn't do. So we went to a Boston Bruins versus the Buffalo Sabres
That
game.
was fun.
Now, there's something in common with that place that AWA has. If you go to a hockey game in Boston, you better be either wearing Boston stuff or the opponent's team stuff. You just don't come in with street clothes. Same with AWA. You better be wearing a costume. Or you better be press that's taking a bunch of pictures. You can't, and you're probably going to do better in a group. If you're flying solo in your normal attire, you are going to stick out like a sore thumb. Believe me, I spent 2 days doing that, and it felt weird.
So it's like wearing cosplay on the morning of DragonCon.
Yeah. Absolutely, yeah.
Which is kind of fun because people look at you really strange. Like, dude, what's wrong with you?
Well,
and then when they ask you why you're wearing this, it's like, this is my cosplay that I wear on a normal day. Why don't you dress up like this, Mr. AWA cosplayer?
Okay, let me since we brought up cosplay real quick, I just want to put this out here. If you have the cojones to put together a costume, no matter your gender, no matter your size, no matter your color, if you have the cojones to create it and put it on, more power to you. Okay? Yes. In my mind, are there times where like, oh my God, that's a little weird or it's a little risque for me. I don't know why they would be doing that, but I'm not going to try to belittle you. That's not my place. I'm not wearing cosplay. I'm too scared to death to wear cosplay. So who am I to say anything about someone who actually has the balls to do it? So all of you asshats out there who decide that they need to take people down for being themselves need to go suck a big one.
Yeah, basically, if you see someone in cosplay and you don't like what they're wearing, just shut your mouth and don't say anything to them. There's no need to be an asshole and be like, what's up with your cosplay, man? Just keep on walking by them and ignore like they don't exist.
Look,
there's no need for that.
There's ways to approach this. If you think that it's absolute garbage, then just keep walking. If you have no idea who they are, it's okay to ask them, okay? Mm-hmm. And if you don't like their explanation, then just keep walking, okay? Here's this crazy thing. If there's something that bothers you, but it's not directly affecting you, you can ignore it or go away. Freaking MMO beta people. If you do not like the game, go away.
Nah, I'm giving my input in MMOs. I'm sorry. I'm going to tell you how much it sucks, and then I'm going to continue to play for the next 40 hours anyways.
We should be playing World of Warcraft. Why didn't everyone just play World of Warcraft? This is such a waste. What the hell, man? I should just be playing World of Warcraft. Then go play WoW, for the love of God.
Go play Burning Legion.
Or whatever. Is that the new one?
It's something. I think Burning Legion. Isn't that what it's called?
I don't know.
Death Legion, Legion of Apocalypse.
Magic Legions of the
Give
left nut.
Blizzard more money,
basically.
Yeah.
I can't believe people make fun of people's stuff. Yeah, I know. It's...
But for the most part, I have very positive. I will say I have very positive experiences at conventions in terms of people interaction and seeing what's going on, and all that is very good times. Actually, one of my entirely favorite parts of DragonCon is going to second floor of the Marriott, where everybody's all in their cosplays, and everybody's always like, "Dude, that's awesome!" And that's just what you do. Just walk around talking to random people. That's like my favorite part of almost like the entire weekend. So that's just don't be.
Well, the problem. See, here's the problem. And this is true with anything. The vast majority of the time when you do something, when you're playing something, when you're dressed up as something, whatever, you're doing something for the first time, 9 out of 10 times, everyone's okay with it. The unfortunate thing is when one person makes a stink, then, oh my God, society revolution. We need to go lynch someone or kill someone or blah, blah, blah. Cosplayers usually don't mind telling about who they are cosplaying when asked in a negative tone is the only problem 99.9% of the time. Absolutely. Look, it's that stupid saying that has been basically pushed into at least me as a I guess a born Catholic, is you do unto others as you would have them do unto you. So if you want everyone to be an asshat to you, then be an asshat to them. If you want people to actually give you, constructive criticism or actually have a conversation, then return the favor. Okay, so I see Momocons popping up a couple times on the chat window. I do want to say one thing, and that is for those out there who have been fans of the Ultra Confusion Thursday Night Hangout and Ultra Confusion in general, you might remember that we ran a contest for tickets to MomoCon. Now, of course, it wasn't really just tickets for MomoCon. We gave you a couple of different options, but everyone chose MomoCon. So this year, in lieu of giving you choices, we're just going to say that we're soon, not now, but soon, we're going to be running a contest, and the winners will get tickets to MomoCon. More details in the future. So, all right, let's see here. What other stories do we have to talk about? Let's jump into, BrawlHalla. Okay, so BrawlHalla is an online free-to-play game that's basically, it feels like Smash Brothers.
You brawl in this game?
Yes, you brawl in this game.
Crazy.
You fight one another to show your dominance over your opponents. Anyway, so there's the first ever World Championship happening in November. I believe it's November 11th through the 13th at the Cobb Galleria.
Ooh.
That's not the Cobb Energy Center, but the Cobb Galleria.
The other place in Cobb.
Yes. And basically it is, from my understanding, it's 1v1 or 2v2. Okay? So here's how it works. If you're in Atlanta during that time, you can either buy yourself a $30 ticket to view all the awesomeness, or you, my friends, could apply to be one of the players, because it is an open world tournament.
So you're saying I could enter and win money?
Sure. I don't know. I'm pretty sure you're not going to win money, but you could definitely enter it. Now, of course, the prize pool is composed of $50,000.
Don't you have any faith in me, Charlie? It kind of hurts my feelings.
Dude, I've seen you play games competitively, or competitive online games, and unless it's WoW and you're on a team, no.
But I could smash the controller and then I'd win. I'm just saying.
No. Oh, that's the other thing. One of the really awesome things about BrawlHalla's Open World Championship is you get to bring your own controller.
So that's even better that I can smash the controller.
Yes, where AWA is at is where the BrawlHalla World Championship's at.
Well, there you go, Watka. You already know where to go.
Yeah. But anyways, I think it's interesting. I hope that it continues, and maybe, it's not an esports, professional esports, whatever. But I do hope that this continues, and it is kind of fun. It's a fun thing, and to be honest with you, I think it might do better if it was like under the wing of another like bigger tournament or convention or something, so that you have more than just BrawlHalla. I'm not saying BrawlHalla is not a good game, but I'm just saying that they might be able to gain faster traction if they coupled it.
Being under their own umbrella, does that mean that they get to keep more of the
profits,
tickets and the gate, versus if you share the umbrella, you obviously have to share your tickets?
True.
So it might be part of the rationale too, is it's all ours, so we keep all of the Benjamins.
Right, but since it's solo, you're also running the risk of not enough people turning out.
Very true. Very true. Yeah.
So I mean, it's
I'll be honest. I don't really know anything about BrawlHalla, so I probably will personally not go.
Well, if anyone out there has been watching the Ultra Confusion gaming stream, you've seen me play a lot of BrawlHalla and gotten my ass whooped a lot in BrawlHalla. Because
so are you gonna go into the tournament since you're getting so good at it?
Hell no, I'm not good at it. Come on, dude. No, I had one game, 1 out of 20, where I actually placed first. The other were either 2 through 4.
I have how many players?
4.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say maybe 5 or 6 players.
No, it's just 4.
Okay.
And it does have so here's the deal. It is free to play. However, the characters do rotate. Okay, so you're not going to have the same characters all the time, unless of course you unlock them by either using in-game currency or just buying the entire Hero Legend pack, which gives you all of them, and you could basically just max out on that specific character that you are awesome at, and then ta-da. Anyways, so that's BrawlHalla. Let's hit up. Okay, first of all, no.
What?
It's not Child's Play. Well, I mean, donate to Child's Play by all means. Donate to Child's Play. However, it should say Extra Life.
Yes.
So Zealeus is going to change that
Yep,
on the thing. So basically, okay. So Extra Life. Well, Child's Play is an organization through Penny Arcade, where they for the love of all is holy. Child's Play is basically a charity through Penny Arcade that basically raises. You could do money, or you could do I think it's wish lists on Amazon or wherever, and send goods to different hospitals. Extra Life is an event that happened. That it's another charity. This one is more the donations get put to a specific hospital, and for us, Altered Confusion, all of the donations made to the Altered Confusion Extra Life team go straight to the Children's Healthcare of Atlanta, which, of course, if you've been listening, my son was there a month ago, spent about 3 days there, and I, of course, have spent many, many, many days there when I was growing up because of the stupid, dumb stuff that kids do.
I don't know how I never got.
So November 4th is the official day. However, if you want to do Extra Life or you're thinking about it, you don't have to necessarily do it on November 4th. It's basically you're just trying to set aside 24 hours of gaming to show your commitment to those who are donating to you to the cause for the Children's Miracle Network.
Solid. And I will be there for part of it too, hopefully.
Yes.
That's the plan.
I will be there the whole time. 24 hours. I need to start compiling the list of games I'm going to do. And to be honest with you, I'll probably reach out to you, the audience, to see if there's any games that I might want to add to my roster.
Now I forget, do you start that Friday evening / Saturday morning, don't you, if I remember right?
I start Saturday morning at 2 a.m.
So then you go to bed Sunday morning at 2 a.m. to get some sleep for
Mm-hmm.
Sunday, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And then I'm up at 10, and then I basically take over the kids.
Because somebody else was taking care of the kids for the rest of the weekend.
Yep.
Fair enough.
Yep. So there you go, ladies and gentlemen.
Sounds like a solo play. I
So-
will probably be playing Borderlands too.
So definitely donate to Extra Life. Now, I know that a lot of people are like, well, you've already met your donation quota. That should not stop you. You should be and Wack Kid is playing, he's doing it for the Palmetto Health Children's Hospital. And
that's also a very solid choice.
absolutely.
Basically any hospital is a solid choice.
Well, I mean, any hospitals that
help.
are through Children's Miracle Network.
Yep.
Okay. And donating makes you feel good, and it's also tax deductible if that's the way that you want to look at it.
Well, that's how some people make their taxes go away magically, or so I hear.
Oh, for the love of God. Okay. Anyways, let's move on to the next thing, and that, of course, is sure, why not? Actually, you know what? Let's go to patent trolls first.
Well, fine then. I will patent troll your
kids.
Patreon.
Let's talk about this. So, it's always interesting to me to find out these individuals who basically are sitting around prodding the internet or waiting for someone to alert them of something that might offend that person so they can go after you through copyright or trademark or
Can I see your
whatever.
for your glasses? And they offend me because they greatly offend me.
Well, are these your sunglasses?
That was my style 8
Uh-huh.
years ago, and
Uh-huh.
you stole it from me.
Yeah.
I approve.
That's for the love of God.
Bono told me so.
No. So basically what's going on is there was a story that broke a little bit ago about a YouTuber basically going after a smaller YouTuber because the smaller YouTuber used that YouTuber's picture in the thumbnail. And she's like, "You can't do that. It's copyright infringement. How dare you?" But the funny thing is, it's like, what do you call it? That's exactly what the bigger YouTuber does.
Yeah.
Like
he
she
stole
has
from somebody else?
Yeah. No. Their stuff has always got like Justin Bieber and Justin Timberlake.
So they're doing the same thing.
Yeah, they're doing the exact same thing. But they're like, it's okay for me because I'm me. But you can't use my likeness. That's not cool. You're like, what?
That's not how it works. I'm sorry.
The other thing is, this person is the big YouTuber is a very opinionated individual, and they simply went off the fact that their picture was on the thumbnail without actually watching the video. So there was no context to it. There's like, oh my God, how could you associate me with your channel?
I'll tell you, if you want to take this face right here and put it as your thumbnail, you are more than welcome. I'm okay with that. My face, this sells billboards right here. Just saying.
Right. But anyways, there was a gentleman who was, I think it was on the International Game Developers Association board, who had basically, he had a product called Edge.
Edgewave.
And basically anything that contained the word edge, he went after.
Did he sue Adam Copeland?
Probably. I know he went after Mirror's Edge. He went after the magazine called The Edge. I'm sure that he went after YouTube's Edge, who's probably been around much longer than that dude's patent has, but still, you're using Edge. You can't use Edge.
Well, the new Internet Explorer, Edge, on Windows 10.
But it's the same deal as what the Candy Crush people are going.
Anything with Saga.
Candy, Crush, or Saga in it, they own it all. Those three words.
Sorry, you can't sell anything called candy anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Mars, you can't call your stuff candy. That's all mine.
Yep. That's, the funny thing is, this only happens in the U.S. Everyone understands that, right? If you try to put this like in front of like a French court or an Italian court or a Russian court, they'd be like, so we're going to jail you for wasting our time, and we're going to fine you damages for making everyone else show up.
If you actually are interested in this whole topic of like copyright patent infringement, check out a website called techdirt.com.
Oh yeah,
it's a guy Mike Masnick, if I'm saying his name right. I'm probably butchering it, but he writes a lot about these. Different copyright, patent infringement, all that kind of stuff. Another interesting one to check out is Newegg. There are a lot of companies, especially the bigger companies, when they're sued for stuff like that, they just settle. Because frankly, in a lot of cases, it's cheaper just to settle for, I'm just saying $1 million than it is to pay your lawyers $4 million to actually fight this to the courts. But Newegg.com is like, screw that, yos. We think this is like crap, and we're going to fight you patent trolls all the way to the end. And they've pretty much won every court case that they've gone to. And they have like their lead attorney writes like articles about, why they're doing this and stuff. It's really interesting to read. So that's one of the reasons I really like Newegg is they're really big on fighting of the patent trolls, for basically being like, you stole our patent that you can add stuff to a shopping cart. We came up with that idea.
Actually, something along those lines. Every single company that has that functionality is paying royalties to a company.
It's things like, it's just everything like that.
Right.
It's things you get for like,
an interpretation. Okay. Now, Ninrak says, did that guy forget that you can't go after those who were using it before you used it? No. What these patent trolls or copyright trolls are doing are they're trying to basically strong arm you into trying to settle because if you go, what they're trying to do is they're trying to go after people they know cannot go into a legal battle so that they make a little bit of change. Even if they're completely in the wrong, the thing is if you strong arm someone hard enough, fast enough, they're going to settle and try to make it go away.
Some companies just they can't afford,
right.
Even if they know they're in the right, where's this legal defense money going to come? And there's not always reparations either. So even if you're correct, it can be up to the judge on whether or not you basically get, your legal fees paid for. Mm-hmm. And if that doesn't happen, you're out all that money. Yeah, you won your lawsuit and you're in the clear, but you're also out thousands or hundreds of thousands of dollars for legal fees.
Right. Now, I will say this. Okay, so we brought up, the topic I basically brought up was about YouTube. Now, of course, you might remember there's this new thing on YouTube called YouTube Heroes, which basically are these individuals who not only try to help videos like with closed captioning, all that stuff, but they're also out there as basically, I hate to use this term, but they're basically an angry mob. With pitchforks and torches that if they find something not to their liking, they could tear it down without no rhyme or reason, and you can basically have a bunch of people gang up on a specific video and rip it down, even if it's well within fair use.
Can they do that to Justin Bieber?
God, I wish.
I'm just saying there could be some positivity to this if the force of the angry mob is
the problem is that to Justin Bieber it'd be like, just a drop in the bucket. But the problem is okay, so here I'm going to shatter some myths here. The vast majority of YouTubers out there do not do enough commercial advertisement revenue through YouTube to sustain themselves. They're doing a shit ton of other stuff on the side, okay? It's not just their videos. And a lot of people who you think are basically being sustained by just their videos, they're not. So if an angry mob were to go after you and basically take away your ad revenue for one or all of your videos, if you're basically on a shoestring budget, you're screwed.
Well, for Lava, it comes down to, in a way, it's advertising for what they're doing on the side.
Right.
So take, for instance, Lindsay Sterling.
Yep.
She has, hundreds of millions of views on YouTube.
Yep.
The reality is, this is not just her. This is most recording artists. The majority of their income actually comes from tours and merchandise.
Right.
And that's, I'm sure a lot of other YouTubers, even if they're not, artists, are in a very similar position where, they make some money off of AdWords, but it's not a whole lot. It's the side effect of the knowledge that comes of this person due to YouTube where they're making money.
Well, right. So anyone worth their salt, if they've got a good following on YouTube, yes, they're going to pull in that ad revenue, but also they're basically making themselves look more presentable and more approachable. So when they do the conventions or the concerts or whatever, people are more willing to go, oh, you know what? I feel a better attachment with this person. I'm definitely going to go see them, and they pay the extra money, which then, of course, goes into their pocket. In
an interview, Rick Astley, of course, the lead singer of Never Gonna Let You Down, he's made $12 off of YouTube. For all those, 33 plus... Rick Rolls, 33 million views, $12. Mm-hmm. Now, like he said, though, is this has happened, but because of that, his touring money is all slow. People now know who Rick Astley is again. So in terms of the money he's now bringing in from merchandise and selling of the album and other ways to make money, those have gone up.
Right.
So it works both ways.
Mm-hmm.
In a way, you're kind of paying YouTube to almost host. Because do you want to pay for the hosting of this video?
No.
And pay the thousands of dollars to transfer this? And now you pay for the servers?
Oh.
So, it's like, YouTube is making money off the backs of these people. It's like, okay, go host your video server. See how that goes for you.
Well, see, here's the problem. I understand that there needs to be some videos that need to be cleaned up on YouTube, but by giving everyone power and the ability to basically strike down YouTube videos that they just have a vendetta against is scary. Especially when I don't think it takes much for just the ad revenue to turn off of a video, and that video could be, that video could be what makes the bank.
Just wait until 4chan gets the control of this power.
Oh, dear God. Anyways, so real quick, since we're talking about ad revenues, we don't really have that much ad revenues, but I do want to bring up one thing, and that, of course, is Patreon.
Patreon? What is Patreon, sir?
Patreon is a website that basically you have the chance or the ability to become the patron of Alter Confusion. And what you do, my friends, is you donate a monthly amount to Alter Confusion to help with expenses and whatnot revolving around Alter Confusion. Now, there are two current electronic items that Alter Confusion has. Well, that's the page. There are now two items of Alter Confusions that have now completely gone boom boom, which I'm sad to say, and of course we can't fix it right now.
What do you mean boom boom?
So one, the external hard drive that held every single, it was basically the backup for every single video that Alter Confusion has gone to sleep with the fishes.
That's very sad.
Yeah, it's right there if you want to grab it.
Did you drop it in the toilet?
No, it just stopped working.
So I can unplug it?
Yeah, it's fine. It's not plugged in anything, so. So this, my friends, this wonderful device that had 4 years worth of videos and the webcomics and a bunch of other side projects. This, my friends, has gone completely toast. I've tried several different ways to try to bring it back and it ain't coming back. So I need to find a new solution to back up all my stuff.
Backupify.
Sure. And then, of course, we have our awesome camcorder, which I don't see right now. Where the fuck is that thing? The camcorder, which we've basically been using for Alter Confusion since day one, and that, of course, is no, it's not in that box. I don't know. I'd have to find it. Camcorder is what we've recorded all of our panels, and I think it's over here, Dibby. Okay. It's where we record what we used to record all our panels, and then the panels we saw. That it still works technically.
I hear. I think there's a butt coming.
As long as we're plugged into the wall.
Correct. That is
the one that we used in Momocon.
Yeah.
Yeah. Technically, if it's not plugged in, I think we have 15 minutes of battery power when it used to be, back in the day, like 2.5 hours.
That's salt, man. Salt.
Yeah, and you can't, you have to really go into the deep, deep darkness of the internet to get a battery to fix that, and it's just not worth it.
The special places.
Yeah, so those are 2 items that we would love to be able to replace, and you can help us get close to that goal by being a patron. Now, of course, there are different levels of being a patron. Some of them will give you personal thanks. Some of them will get you access. And then, of course, I'm going to revamp some of these rewards. I want to basically offer to those who donate enough the ability to do a Thursday night-esque sit-down chat with me, but not on a Thursday night, where we could just, shoot the shit about video games or whatever. And I, of course, will be broadcasting on the channel, and we'll record it and be putting on a special place in YouTube and on the webpage, and pinging all the social media networks to talk about it. So
do I have to pay to continue to be on the podcast?
No, damn it.
Okay, just checking.
Okay, real quick, if you're interested in helping out a friend of the, we'll go to the friends thing. If you're willing to help out a friend of the show, longtime friend of the show now, he also has a Patreon, and that, of course, is WhackKid47. There are also there's also a ton of other guys we'd like to thank real quick, and I swear to God, I'm sorry right on the beginning of this if I forget to name someone. So real quick, if you're looking for some awesome nerdy podcast, look no further than Nerdburger and Vitamin Geek. Check it out on iTunes. It's awesome. Vitamin Geek's more like, I'd say more horror-esque, but they basically hit the spectrum of nerdy comics
I'm sure
and
you
stuff.
see on the Facebook feed where both the guys from Vitamin Geek, they definitely talk about the horror genre.
Yeah, absolutely.
Quite a bit, yeah.
So you got Nerdburger, you got Vitamin Geek. If you're looking for an independent author, sci-fi author, look no further than Louis Puster III and his series Saga of Ukamog. If you are looking for some interesting pencil and paper RPGs, my friend, then look no further than Pugmire and Murders and Acquisitions, and soon to come out Capers, which I don't know when Capers is actually coming out, and I'm just putting the pressure on Craig Campbell.
Where has Craig been, man?
He's been working, man. And, of course, if you are interested in a blast from the past, basically the adventures of an individual who was made famous by an artist by the name of Larry Elmore, there's a game called Snarf Quest. For those of you who may not be old enough, or maybe were not in the into the nerdy stuff back in the 80s, there was once upon a time there was a magazine called Dragon. Or is it Dungeon? No, it's Dragon. And in there, they decided, hey, what'd be fun if we did like a long-running comic? And so they did this comic run. And then, thankfully, I think it's Cell Block Studios was able to convince Larry Elmore to allow them to utilize the characters found in the Snarf comics and create a game about it.
There you go. I saw him at Dragon Con.
Yeah.
It was too busy to say hello because, well, yeah.
I try to think if there's any other games off the top of my head here, and I apologize. I'm probably blanking on a ton of things, but to be honest with you, if you want to know about some awesome stuff, the best stuff is when we get to interview the developers, the creators. So if we've interviewed an author, because there's two of them, one's Louis, the other one I cannot remember, Derek A. Kamal, and his book Holmes, which is an interesting book. You should check that one out as well. And he's actually got a pencil and paper RPG called The Dig. Check that one out. But there's amazing stuff out there if you can find it. And of course, at Ultra Confusion, we're trying to help you find it.
Help me help you.
We're here to help the independent developers, creators out there to at least find a little bit of spotlight. We're not going to be the guys. I mean, we would love to be the guys that help you to become millionaires, because then you could sponsor our show. But
could we be millionaires too then? I'm just saying.
Well, if they sponsor our show, then yeah, eventually, yeah. But anyways, so yeah, thank you to everyone out there who supports us, and to all of our friends who help, pass the word along. Now, I do want to do the social media breakdown, which of course is what we do every single week, and that of course is you can find out all the information you want to on our website
at www.ultraconfusion.com.
We would love it if you would like us on Facebook
at Ultra Confusion.
Follow us on Twitter
at Ultra Confusio without the end, because
the end would break the internet.
Oh no, it's not the end of the internet.
Yes. Subscribe to our YouTube channel,
Ultra Confusion LLC.
And of course, if you're watching this on YouTube, then you can check out our Twitch stream, which our Thursday night shows on Thursdays, every Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern Time to about 9:15 Eastern Time. But we also do, or I also do, live game streaming, specifically on Sundays and Tuesdays from 8 p.m. until 11 p.m. And that you can find us on Twitch/Ultra Confusion.
Should I be expecting to see you at Siege and we can interview then?
My friend, I would love to be at Siege. But if you want to, if it's possible to set something up outside of Siege, I will basically bend my calendar to do an interview. So, just hit me up. I'm pretty sure you have my email address. If you don't, then just hit it up on the website and you can get it from there.
There you go. And I'm sure Charlie would love to interview everybody in the audience. And he would. You know who you should interview?
Who?
Wat Kid.
Next time, Whack Kid. Next time we come together, we'll pimp out your stuff, and then of course we'll need the favor returned. Were there any other topics that we wanted to hit up? I think we've basically hit everything. So,
hit all of our topics.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you have any additional topics that you would like to talk about, please hit us up in the chat window. Otherwise, we will talk random stuff, and by random, I mean random.
So this week, or actually just today,
yes,
I know we talk about VR quite a bit. There was a review of the Sony VR system, and there's a guy who spent a lot of money on virtual reality equipment. Mm-hmm. Basically, if there's a VR device out there, he's played it. And the way he kind of put it was, so you got the Sony VR. If you buy the PlayStation 4 plus the VR, you're looking at $800, which obviously puts it at the price of the Rift and the HTC Vive if you don't have it. But if you already have the PlayStation, then you're talking about $400. Now, the big thing he said, there's two things about the Sony VR. It's basically looking at, the hardware and the specifications and all that stuff. It kind of splits the difference of basically the high-end stuff, like the Vive and the Rift, and the cheaper kind of cell phone-based stuff. So it kind of finds a happy medium in terms of quality. The other thing he said is, which I found interesting, is every helmet-based VR system, like if it gets beyond an hour or two of playing, like he has to struggle to continue to play it. The VR, with the way that they did the helmet system, that Sony actually did the helmet system, it's actually comfortable enough where he can play for hours on end without an issue. Because of the way that they actually make it on the head. It's not doing, and it's not. The other issue with the other VR helmets is it's like he equated to basically putting on really uncomfortable ski goggles where you're breathing in a mask. And however Sony did it is that they did it in such a way where you're not putting on the sun. It's more like, he said it was like putting on a sweatband.
Okay. So
it's like this soft pressure on your forehead instead of like this very uncomfortable thing. Specs aside, from his perspective, if you plan on playing VR for a long time, he's like, this is a pretty big deal. Why have other VR companies not figured out how to make this when Sony can?
Right.
So I just kind of thought it interesting where, it's some things it did well and some things didn't do well. Like one thing it didn't do well was apparently, because it has to track you somehow. So they have the Sony Eye, they have the camera. And it's saying if you have ambient light coming from the sides or like a window, it can lose your tracking because of the way the camera works. So it's one of those things where it's a hit or miss. Like with every VR device out there, it's got some good things, it's got some bad things. So I just found it an interesting read where, every, VR device kind of has their own strengths and weaknesses that they do well or not well.
Yes. Now, if people are curious as to what Ninrak is trying to allude to, he is an independent developer. His current project is the Elemental Rift, and it is a clash of the elements rooted at a long-standing family rivalry of the elemental siblings. The balance of power is losing stability, and the seeds of the green-eyed monsters are blooming. The fate of the Innerverse hangs on the outcome of this clash. The survivors will shape the balance of the elements to their desires.
Oh my gosh. Wait, was this?
It was at MomoCon.
Okay, yeah, I thought I remember playing this at MomoCon. Yeah. I was like, I recognize these graphics.
Yeah, no, it's it's at MomoCon.
Right on, very good.
Yeah.
It's always fun going to. That's one of the things I liked that MomoCon did, I think, well last year.
That indie game area.
The indie game area was freaking awesome.
My only issue with that was that they put the Tokyo game whatever right next to it, and so when of course when there's a lot of people in there, they just pump the volume, so you could barely hear anyone in the indie area. But other than that, it was good.
There you go.
Yeah. So let's see here. We have 8 minutes, so ladies and gentlemen, if you have any additional topics, or I could just come up with things. That's right.
Well, that and, of course, our booth at MomoCon had, as usual, Star Wars right behind us, continuously playing.
Mandalorians, my friend. Mandalorians. Let's be specific.
Well, that is a...
The Bounty Hunters. The Mandalorians.
That's a subgenre of Star Wars, I'm just saying.
Yes, but saying Star Wars, it could be anything. Anything within that universe.
Okay.
Anyways, so... Yes, that arcade. I mean, the games there, oh my God, the games there were awesome. I wish I was able to interview everyone, and I apologize. I didn't get to Ninrak. I didn't get to a bunch of them. But I did get, I think it was like 8 or 9 of the...
You got a good chunk of them.
16 that were there, so I got about half, which is still saddening to me because I wanted to get them all. But that was like me trying to do on the freaking camcorder.
It's like Pokemon. You got to catch them all.
I know. So... Anyways,
so when's Charlie going to create his own indie game to show off at the showcase of the Immortals?
All right, so first off, if I were to create an indie game, it would not be digital. I know this might be a surprise to everyone, but if I were to create an indie game, I would basically resurrect a pencil and paper RPG that Zealeus and I basically crafted along with 2 other individuals. That's basically in its 14th iteration, but is an absolute tatters right now in some kind of folder.
Who needs 5th edition when you can have 14th edition?
Yeah. But I to be honest with you, if I were to take on an indie project, which I cannot right now because I'm doing everything and anything and everything for Alter Confusion when I'm not doing the thing. I told Chris about that and explained why he did it. He knew it would draw in a bigger crowd. Okay, yeah, that brings more people there, but unfortunately, whatever. Anyways, and by Chris, he means one of the co-founders of MomoCon, Chris Stuckey.
I can see that. I can understand his rationale. It's to get foot traffic over there. So,
right.
Do you want more foot traffic and be loud, or not have as much foot traffic and
True.
be quiet? So,
Right,
Yeah.
but the problem is it kind of backfired because it brought more people to the indie game area. However, you also had a board game area and an RPG area where they were like on the other side of the freaking thing, and you still couldn't hear over there, and they didn't need any help
Yeah.
with people coming in and out because you've got to be in the right mind to actually attempt to play the RPGs and stuff like that. But anyways, if I were to take on an independent project, saying that I had the time, it would either be a book or it'd be a pencil and paper RPG.
Why not a video game?
One, I would not be able to build it myself. I do somewhere in this brain have enough to probably make a rudimentary game. However, my coding days are long gone.
Amen to that, brother.
Yes. Anyways, but in all actuality, I think that I would want to do something that's not in the same vein as Alter Confusion. I mean, I love games. Don't get me wrong. I love games. However, I would probably want to put my efforts towards a side project that does not have to deal with independently developed games to kind of give me a break.
Well, it's kind of like I work on computers all day, every day.
Yep.
And then outside of work, people are like, hey, do you want to help me with this? I'm like, Nope. I deal with this every day, all day. I need a break from that part of my life. I like doing it. I do like working with the computers.
Right.
But I want a break from it. I don't want to do it when I don't have to, basically. So I
Right.
totally understand what you're saying. I get that. That makes a lot of sense.
That being said, if you are an independent creator of any indie project, be it pencil to paper RPG, a movie, book, digital game, hit us up. The best way to hit us up is on our website, www.alterconfusion.com. Go to the Contact Us link at the top of the page and fill out that information. It goes straight to our admin account that, of course, filters right to me because I am the editor and creator and founder, whatever. You could just keep adding titles.
He is Alter Confusion.
The master of Alter
He's
Confusion.
the Altered of Confusion.
So here's the deal, ladies and gentlemen. I've been doing this for 9 years. I desperately need y'all's help. One, to help spread the word and so we can get more and more indie love. And two, there comes a time in a man's life where he finds out how much money he's actually spent on his side project. A thing of the heart, something he's truly passionate about. But when he thinks about it, it kind of stings. But I'm going to be honest with you. I don't regret spending a single penny. However, in order for Alter Confusion to stay, to keep progressing, hopefully, gain some extra reviewers or maybe gain someone who helps do some art or editing or something, we need some money because
You're saying neither of us are graphical artists to be able to create all this?
Yes. All I'm saying is that if we had a little bit of a budget to work with, maybe we could update the equipment or we could get someone to help, do an overhaul of the website or make the Twitch template look super Alter Confusion.
I like what you did to the Twitch template.
I spent all day on this, guys, so
Not too
be impressed.
I will
And that was with the art program crashing about 5 times. Because it was like, you need to restart your computer. I'm like, no, I'm good. Like, restart your computer. No, I'm good.
The other thing Alter Confusion needs is a new computer. It's on the list.
Yeah,
There's a list.
There's a list, but let's be honest. As long as if we could just get a little bit of money to help with the basic stuff, I'm okay with it. Sure, I would love to have a lot of money to really pimp out stuff and bring someone in to be like uber cool.
Pimp your computer.
But the thing is, it's more important to me to continue to help the indies than get enough money to help. I don't know where the hell I'm going with this, but basically,
I have no damn clue. I'm so lost.
Look, I will continue to do this until I truly cannot do it, but I do need help. Or Alter Confusion does need help. If you want to do the monthly donations, please go to patreon.com/alterconfusion. You could put any amount you want to. If you don't want to do the monthly donations, you want to do a one-time donation, we do have a PayPal account. That money goes straight into an account for us that we can then put into like the bowl or bucket that holds the Patreon money as well. And of course, if you are interested in seeing certain features on Alter Confusion, perhaps you can. Well, first of all, there's the web comic that people keep alluding to that could come back. There could be, hell, if here's something to think about. If you want to support Alter Confusion and you put, I know this is kind of like pay to play type of scenario here, but if you donate enough, I've got no problem. As long as until we vet, after I vet you, to have you do a segment for Alter Confusion. Talk your own game about specific, attributes of games that you don't like, or maybe something about think you were trying to say help indies is greater than spending money polishing. Yes, that's exactly what I was thinking.
But by polishing Alter Confusion, you help the indies.
But the important thing is that the indies get a little bit more recognition to me, okay? So if I can put a little spit shine on it, then that's what I'll do, okay? I will do this until I can't do it any longer. I've been doing it for 9 years, and yes, there are times where I'm like, fuck this. But to be totally honest with you, as any creator will tell you, there are going to be those days where you just want to throw in the damn towel and just walk away from it. But if you're willing to put in the time, if you're truly passionate about it, if you've lost the passion, then walk away. If it becomes all about the dollar signs, walk away. Okay? If you truly continue to have that true passion to create something, to mold it into what you want it to be, then keep going. Yes, I know. There are people who will fail so miserably that they'll run out of money. And that, hopefully, you've taken that into consideration and maybe have to put some of your ideas or projects on hold to gain stability. I'm not saying go into the poorhouse, but don't give up on your dreams.
Charlie's a dreamer.
I am a dreamer. All right, ladies and gentlemen, this, of course, unfortunately, does conclude the Alter Confusion Thursday Night Hangout. I do want to thank everyone for tuning in, for everyone adding to the conversation, both simply by talking or adding their voice to the topics we've given or handing us additional topics. Now, if you have any topics, questions, or concerns for us, either for future shows or just in general, you can hit us up on any of those. Whoops. What the hell? Finger not working. Okay, there we go. You can hit us up on any of these, the website, the Facebook, the Twitter, the YouTube, anything. It all goes to me, and I am really... I've been very good about responding quickly back. Please share this with all your friends. Talk it up to, if you've got a friend who's thinking about creating something, or this friend needs to open their eyes to the fact that there are games that are unique and are not reboots or reimaginings or remasterings or just sequels of games. Tell them about Alter Confusion. And, of course, I'd like to thank you for tuning in to the Alter Confusion Thursday Night Hangout. For myself, Charlie, and Zealeus, it's been the pleasure to give you the crazy stuff coming out of our heads, our mouths, and, of course, our hearts. We will see you next Thursday for another exciting edition of the Thursday Night Hangout. Of course, remember that I do stream on Sundays and Thursdays. Sundays and Tuesdays from 8 p.m. to 11, and I will be playing. I will choose a game to start off with, but if there is a game that you like for me to play, I will hopefully give you the ability to change what games I'm going to play. So if you go to Facebook, I'm going to start listing all the games that I have available, and you can help choose or vote for the games I'll be playing during the stream. I have been pushing around an idea, and I do want audience feedback, and that is I'm thinking about doing a mainstream Tuesday where I do a game that's more mainstream, and then Sunday is more indie oriented. But I could do indie both days or whatever. I'd love to hear from you, the audience, so just hit us up in the comments or hit us up on the website or any of that stuff. So until next time, thank you for tuning in, my friends. It has been a pleasure.
Remember, kids, keep on gaming in the free world.
Amen to that, brother.